morning, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Coffee with the Critters, where we live stream every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, unless otherwise noted. So this is going to be an episode that we haven't done in a while. We're going to be training today inside the Animal Behavior Center, and we have not done that since before we moved. So for those that may be new, hey Daniela, for those that may be new, my name is Laura Joseph, owner of the Animal Behavior Center. We're an international educational center where we teach people all over the world how to empower animals and the people that care for them. We do that through positive reinforcement training and using the science of behavior called applied behavior analysis, using D.A.F. Skinner's laws of behavior. So you can find out more about what we do on our website, theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. And you can also email me, Laura, L-A-R-A, at theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. Good morning, Susie. Good morning, Colette. Good morning, everybody. Susie and Ray, I believe it's a happy birthday to you this morning. I think that's what I saw. So, I was going to go out and train a lot of different animals today, but it was raining, so I am going to stay inside the Animal Behavior Center. And so today we're going to be training. It doesn't matter what I'm getting ready to train. Doesn't necessarily, it does matter. The species you train, but the applications using the laws of behavior are, observation first, then start identifying reinforcers. And reinforcers are so much more than food. And then start shaping. And a lot of times people ask me, what's the hardest thing, the toughest thing you see people have with training? And one of the most common things I see is people taking too big of steps in their shaping plans. Hey Tim, good morning everybody. So I've got a bunch of stuff lined up for whatever we want to train. I can start training, or you guys can mention something you want to see me train, and I'll start training it. Pending. So our things we can train today are parrots, birds, and Maddie. Let's see. Anything before we start? I was going to show you some bison training this morning. I have started training them. It's pretty cool. I'm having a lot of fun. I love training animals and species of animals I've never trained before. Good morning, Rico. We start with that. Hang on. So, Coco. If you don't want birds screaming, in order to change a behavior, you need to replace it with another one. What do you want them to do instead? So I have some food reinforcers, and I haven't trained my own birds in a while. So you're going to see me reshaping some behaviors. So Coco just said, Coco. Hi, Rock. Okay, I'm not going to be able to get away from this. Continuous schedule of reinforcement. Hi. Too bad Milo wasn't over here because he needs a hoof trim. So yeah, let's go ahead and start training. This is one of the reasons why I have this island here, is so we can get animals up on top of it and train. An aversive to me is squatting for long periods of time. I ran track in high school, and I'm paying the price for it. I've been paying the price for it ever since. So here is a ramp that we have that we use for the pigs, for the pig and the dogs. I've got a wobble board over here. I wanted to show you, this is something we can train in the future, a wolf target. And I can explain more about that. Target sticks, dog treats, got some syringes, some painkillers, and station. So, I mean, we could start with the easiest, which is teaching a station. So you'll see all 3 cockatoos on their stations right now. All right? So my cue, station, station, station. It's one of the first things I'll teach any animal is to station, which is a target with duration. I want 2 feet on a perch, all right? And when on a particular perch, if we have perches set up at the front of their enclosures on purpose, anybody watching our training with Marula, or Turaco, in the Parrot Project, is seeing how, and I say that, he goes to his target, his station. We put a target on the door. Now, Marula is a Turaco. This doesn't matter. I'm going to show you how this comes into play with dogs as well. Marula is our Turaco that came to us from Best Friends out in Utah. And see where she's at? That's exactly where we want him. This is exactly where we want him and why. He's a nervous bird. All I want from him is to be able for him to get out and be able to fly around this room. So I don't know, but I'm not anticipating being able to get him to fly to the hand. But I don't have to. I don't ever have to have contact with this bird in order to train him. So we can train him with blueberries, but we're getting him to fly to that perch on his door, and then we can open the door, and then we have a bowl right next to him. And if we open that door, he can get out and fly around, and then we can cue him back to that door and shut it. So that is all I want for this bird. All I want for any animal is for them to be as happy as possible. And if I can train them, all the better. But you can train them, okay? Lost one of my birds on the station because I gave my cue, which was leaving. Let me show you how a station works, Coco, with a dog. But now, don't forget, these guys are still being trained. So I have to pay attention, especially if this is what I want them to continue to do. So here we have a station for males. Our stations here at the center. So Quincy is right here to my right. And as soon as I put this down, I'm going to suspect that she's going to run right to it because she has a long history of running to stations. So Daniela asks, what was your cue to release the parrots from their station? It wasn't my intentional cue, but what it was is I just walked out of the room. Keep your animals used to change. So Rico was not sure of the station in my arm. I was aware of it with Coco, but not with Rico. Okay, so now I have to be careful because we're dishing out dog treats, and I don't want to cross-contaminate. Okay, so let's show what Quincy does as soon as she sees this station. A station, we can use a station in numerous different ways if the dog runs to the good. When the dog runs to the door, or barks, or lunges at people at the door when they knock on the door, teach them to do this instead. So I'm still going to reinforce this behavior. It's up to me what behavior I want to reinforce. Good. What does that station look like? All 4 feet on the station? Is it sitting down on the station, standing up on the station, laying down on the station? It's up to you. What do you want? So Quincy can't run to the door if she's sitting on her station. All right? I want to show you this. What's up, Blue? Okay, so we can do some toenail trimming, maybe with Isis. We can do some toenail trimming with Quincy. See how quiet it gets in here when you start training? Good. Not forgetting that there's a dog still on the station to my left. So you want to reinforce that. Reinforce that behavior. A lot of times, people don't recognize that Jelly Bean must have a blueberry in her mouth. People don't recognize that desirable behavior is happening until the dog starts barking again or until the bird starts screaming. What they forget to pay attention to is this. Good. Okay, now we can't be sitting here delivering reinforcement all the time. That's when you move to an intermittent schedule, which it can happen every other time when the behavior happens. Every 3 minutes, whatever you want. Well, that works. So let me show you something else. Now I'm on my way to training a very undesired behavior if I keep doing what I'm doing. Because I don't want Quincy's saliva on my hand, I'm dropping the treat into her mouth. This is the 3rd time I've done it, and I've seen that now it's bringing her feet up off the station, and she's anticipating that drop, so she's opening her mouth faster. And it's going to teach her, and I know this because I accidentally did it, Coco, with my bulldog. It's going to teach her to start jumping towards the tree. That's not at all what I want. So to touch their nose to a target stick. I really need a different target stick. This one's for the dogs. I wanted to teach the wolf pups to touch their nose to a target stick, because what was happening, if I would feed one, they would all start fighting for the food. So I had to teach them all to station. Anything that I can't get into. So then once I taught them the station, then I wanted to teach them to really focus, and I wanted them to touch their nose to a target stick. But what they're used to is grabbing things and pulling it into their enclosure, and I did not want them to grab this. So I didn't start with this. What I started with, and this is where you have to shape, okay? I'm like, what can they not grab with their mouth that's easy to grab and pull it into their enclosure? So Quincy's gonna be our wolf today, but maybe I live stream this for you in a future event, and maybe I do a public demonstration of this afternoon. So Quincy is gonna have no idea what this is. All I did was put a cupboard handle on the back of it, so I can hold it like this with the wolves. I want them to touch their nose to it, and then I'm going to, let me dry this off. Then I'm going to shape that down to touching the end of the stick, the ball on the end of the stick. I washed this right before the live stream started, so I'm just drying it off. Now, I did notice that Quincy just came off her station, and she's been sitting on it for all this time. So I'm trying to identify the reinforcer behind why she came off of it. So here comes our ducks. Now I'm still paying attention that birds are still on stations behind me, so Quincy knows I'm getting ready to trim. I kept this behind me because Rico was a little nervous about what it was. So this is what I taught the wolf pups to do. Here's a target. Watch how I use a target. Watch how I use a target, because there was a while ago that I realized I never taught Quincy to go from a down to a sit position, but she already knows how to touch the target. That's how I did it. All right, I'm gonna have to wash my hands after this. I'm gonna get my hands free. All right, she's gonna have no idea what I'm asking her to do, but she does know how to touch things. Good. Okay. This isn't a good example for me to show you because she's so used to training. Good. Good. She's so used to training, so she's gonna touch anything I put in front of her. Baby food. Okay. Never had her target for that before. Good. So she's just gonna touch things. Good. Good. So if I want to move an animal, good. what I just did there was chain behaviors, and we're getting ready to talk about that in our level 1 and level 2 membership in our podcast. So chaining a behavior is when you teach one behavior and you bridge and reinforce. You teach one behavior, then you teach another behavior, all right? And then you tie the two behaviors together. You teach this one, then you teach this one, then you bridge and reinforce. So you'll bridge and reinforce after 2 or more requested behaviors, okay? So this is what I did with the wolf pups. I taught this. And then once they clearly knew they couldn't not to bite this, then I went down to something smaller. I don't know what. Here's a package of black extra large zip ties to wrap eagle perches. So then I can good. So now I'm just sniffing it or sniffing it. So more was a sniff. Good. Now she's sniffing again. But if I just want her to target, let her sniff. Good. Okay. So then you go down to something even smaller. Okay. So you're shaping. Got to shoot. Let her smell it. She's done sniffing. I'm going to ask her to touch. Good. Good. So that's how to shape a drop onto you. Kind of shape, you say? Good. So, in the color, is it too loud in here to hear me? Lena Kelly from the Critchlow Alligator Sanctuary was here the other day, and she was watching how I was training all of the gators to touch. And our bigger gators, the male, I'm just starting to teach, but the female clearly knows it. And I'd say they're at least 6 feet long. I taught her the other day, she knows to touch her nose to a target stick. I taught her to turn in a circle. First time I ever trained an alligator to turn in a circle. So here's like a focus and control exercise. And I do these a lot with animals. Remind me to tell you how I'm teaching all the bison to touch their nose. I need her to turn around. I don't know if she'll go to her station. Ready, station? On your station. Good. I haven't trained with Lucy in a long time. Touch. Don't put it too big of stuff. Good. And I haven't taught this to her. I have worked on this with her. Good. I chose to bridge and reinforce that because I asked her to stay, and she did. She got up and turned around, but she kept all 4 paws on her station. So, touch. jump. Then we'll start training some birds. Gotta wash my hands. Good. Good. I haven't tried this before. Touch. I chose to shoot it and touch, but I chose to bridge and reinforce it because I realized I took too big of a step. So I'm just shooting it. Good. So, I need to know why she's jumping. Is she in pain? Is it the angle that we're asking her to touch? Good. Hi, Tati. Touch. Good. Touch. Good. Hi. Good. Touch. Take a break from that. Have a good drink. Wash your hands. And we're going to train some birds. Anybody wants to see some bird training? Anybody out there want to see some bird training? Okay. Wash my hands really quick. Because I know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 birds in here that like to be trained right now. Okay, so one thing, Coco hasn't seen the target stick since we moved. Just small. So I'm not going to assume. Come on. There we go. I'm not going to assume he knows what I'm going to ask. This is exactly where I taught Coco a target. Good job. So, let's do this. See if you can see the perch. I'm getting them to move. Come over here. Touch. Quack, 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 quack. bird that was afraid of sticks. So he's done eating. So I had to teach him to touch it, not bite it. I don't care if his tongue touches it or his mouth is open. It's taking a long time. So maybe I need to start cutting my pine nuts in half. So it's taking an awful long time with that pine nut, so it's making me think maybe my pine nuts aren't as fresh as they should be. And then a lot of times when I'm done with the training session, so I want him to know I'm done. So what I'll do is redirect behavior. So he doesn't sit here and focus on me training. So all I did was put a handful of pine nuts in his coconuts. So this way I can move on. Who do we want to train now? And what do we want to train? I don't know. Pipsqueak? Want to show how we teach a foot target in order to do a nail trim. So let's see, when I'm training birds to let me trim their nails, I like their feet on the side of the enclosure. So that's a foot target. Okay? So let me show you. And then we talk about this in the Parrot Project. You need one foot, then you need the other foot. So let's get him to turn back and forth. So I ask him here. You ready? Good. 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 All behavior that needs to be shaped before you touch the Dremel tool. Good. So we're touching all 4 toes now. Now we need duration. Good. Okay. Now I want the other foot because I'm going to trim the nails on the other foot. Okay. Sit up. Stand over here. Good. This is something that's obviously trained. I haven't trimmed Rico's nails in probably about a month. Good. So, and it's about time for him to have his nails trimmed again. We're teaching the hyacinths this, and something I just thought of this morning. All of my birds are trained to take and accept an aversive taste, such as medicine. I have yet to teach that to the hyacinths, and I don't want to wait until they get sick for me to teach it. I need to teach it now, before that potential happens. So I'm moving his feet around, his toes. Good. So if he's not sure what I'm asking, I need to shape him, letting me handle his feet. Good. So I'm trying to move his toenails around in the enclosure. Good. Good. So I need to give him information so he knows that I'm asking. I want you to stay right there. Good. And I teach that by shaping duration. A lot of times people assume, good, that the animal knows what we're asking, and we're taking a long time to do it. Good. That information, bridging and reinforcing that behavior, the smaller steps, good, lets them know, yes, you're doing exactly what I want you to do that's going to earn you the reinforcer that's coming, right? All of my life. Good. So Rico will continue to sit here and beg for me to train him. Who's feeding you walnuts? We need to let them know that is not true. Toy forage, food forage. All right, so now, let's see, what can we do now? Here's something I haven't done in a long time, and I'm gonna do it at a distance because it might scare the birds. So the hyacinths are still getting used to dogs. Okay, here's a wobble board. Something I used to use with my dog when my dogs were puppies. So wobble board creates an unstable platform. I love using this with the dogs and the pig. So that's what it looks like on the bottom. That's what it looks like on the top. She obviously remembers something, but I haven't trained this with her in years, okay? So this will make a noise. What do you think, Rico? Yeah? What's that? Okay, so, okay, she remembers. Good. Good. Foot target. Good. Now, I'm not asking her, she's just giving it. Good. If I want her to wait, and Quincy, wait. Good. So I don't want her putting her foot on it until I ask. So I'm going to ask her to do something else. Good. Until she's not, she's comfortable. She's not completely comfortable with sitting out with both feet. Good. So now I'm going to ask more. Good. Okay. Good. Good. Sit. Sit. Good. There's a way for me to get her off of the wobble board. I was thinking I want her off, so I'm not going to reinforce that if I didn't ask her. I wanted her off the wobble board, but I don't have her off, so I was just like, what other behavior can I ask her to do which causes her to back off the wobble board? And that was sit. Good. So we taught this to the pig as well. We could do this with the rear end, with the rear feet. I have never done that, but okay. Another thing I can ask her to do, good, is if I want her off, is I can ask her to go to her station. Okay? Go to your station. Go to your station. Matter, Coco. So, let's show some of this. I have no idea what time it is because I don't have a clock on me. Rocky. So I'm going to ask her to climb up that ramp. I'm noticing a toenail. So we trim birds' nails, trim birds' nails, trim dogs' nails. Let's get her up here. Oh. She goes and touches all the bird stuff. Right here. Sit. Good. So we were showing this in our level 1 membership. Good. You get a bridge. Reinforce the behavior of her sitting. To reshape this. Good. Quincy does not like her feet touched. Good. 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 So now to the point where I'm putting the trimmer around the nail. Good. If I take too big of a step, she's going to move her foot. Good. I know that from experience. Good. Don't know why she just did that. Like accidentally cued her. Good. Good. If she wasn't comfortable with me touching that foot. Good. So we're about ready to make the clip. Stay. She stayed all that time. Good. Good. Put pressure on the nail. Good. I was gonna clip, but I saw her move her head. Good. 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 Put a lot of pressure on it then. Good. I did make a little clip, and she moved her foot. Put that on there. So, good. Because I'm asking a different foot, I need to shape. Good. that if I focus on one nail too long and just focus on that one nail versus doing things like this, good. It takes me longer to trim them. Good. 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 I could have clipped, but I'm going to take my time and shape this behavior with her. So, I have some animals I need to go train. So, for those of you that are watching that would like to see more of what we do, we have our level 1 and 2 membership. They're annual memberships where we live stream our work. And you can find that on the Animal Behavior Center website, theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. We also have annual memberships to species-specific training, such as the Parrot Project, which is extremely popular, where we live stream our work with parrots. Also, our level 1 and level 2. Level 2, we are training a lot of zoo animals and different species. Also, level 1 and level 2 have podcasts, which are very popular. So if you need to get in touch with me, feel free to email me at Lara, L-A-R-A, at theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. Otherwise, we're going to go do some work. Ready to work? Work is not a 4-letter word. Animals love it if you're actually using positive reinforcement training. Studies show it's the animal's preferred form of enrichment. So let's go train.